All right, shalom, everybody. We got a lot better weather today, so I ain't gonna be freezing. All right, but let's get started. So before we get started, we're gonna face the east. We give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Shalom to the elders and apostles, a great millstone for bringing us His truth. Also, shalom to the double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for bringing us this truth, and honors to the brothers that's pushing this truth with Great Millstone, risking their life and freedom to do so. Also, shalom to the true believers in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that's returning to Him during these last days, so He may have mercy on them in this time of judgment, which we're going to see this year. So I'm going to mention a few things again that I mentioned yesterday, because yesterday it was super windy and super cold, so I was shivering and the wind was loud. So let me say that. So the elder Apostle Tahar, one of the founders and leaders in this truth, labeled this year the year of turn up. And what's the turn up? Turn up of the Lord's judgment. What happens after you turn down? What happens after you turn up? You turn down. So the Lord's judgment is going to turn up. Then His judgment is going to turn down. It's going to turn down because His wrath will be accomplished. His indignation will be complete. And this is the year of turn up, so that means after this, it'll be the year of the turn down, as far as turning down His judgment, which means that the kingdom will be here on the earth, that we'll be the kingdom of heaven, Yahweh willing. So again, 2022, the year of the Lord's judgment is going to turn up until He fulfills His vengeance, and after that, His vengeance is going to turn down. Then we're going to turn up in the kingdom. We're going to rejoice over our mercy and salvation. Now, with this year of turn up, the Lord's judgment turning up in the past week, it's been judgment all over the place, in every way, shape, and form, throughout America and all over the world. But I'm going to read the title to some of these videos that showcases the Lord's judgment. So, for this one here, 15-year-old girl, 15-year-old girl shot 22 times in Southwest Houston while walking family dog. So a 15-year-old girl shot 22 times. That was a fierce judgment from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. They weren't no random occurrence. Now let me see what else we can see. Man, so another one. And that was like 4 days ago. This one here was 6 days ago. U.S. apartment fire in New York City kills 19, including 9 children. That's a fierce judgment from the Lord. Because what did it say in Ezekiel chapter 9, around the 6th verse? It says, slay, utterly old and young, women and children, maidens and old women. So judgment is for everybody. Ain't nobody safe. Adult, children, women, babies. Anybody can get the Lord's judgment. Here's another one. 5 days ago, Europe underwater. A devastating flood has hit France. The Pyrenees River is overflooded. Let's see if I can show this maybe. Now it's too sunny. But it's a fierce flood over there in Europe right now. That's judgment from the Lord. Somebody ain't gonna make it out of that flood. All right, we got another one right here. 2 men follow Bronx woman walking home and stab her 13 times. These women catching judgment. Most of the people that's going to receive the Lord's judgment is women, because women outnumber men like 7 to 1. So again, 2 men follow Bronx woman walking home and stab her 13 times. That's judgment from the Lord. And when was this? This was 2 days ago. And also the flood in Europe was 2 days ago. Another one here. These women catching it. 12-year-old girl attacked by stranger 4 days ago. And all it shows is a cut up face, so it was fierce judgment. Sorry, another one. This was just yesterday. Hundreds starving and freezing and stranded on I-95 in Virginia during winter storm. So you got a bunch of people stuck on a highway in ice and snow, freezing. Somebody gonna die. Everybody ain't gonna make it out of that. Starving to death, freezing, and anything could be a weapon of the Lord. You can use people to bring judgment on you. You can use animals. You can use freak accidents. You can use nature to bring judgment on you. And what's another one? This was 3 days ago. Mom fights to protect son after brutal attack at Campbell Middle School. So even middle schoolers turning up. Everybody get roused up. Judgment about to take place. And also a lot of people having dreams of America being invaded, which I played those clips yesterday. And people having those dreams, it's probably gonna happen soon. Because if we go to, let me see, because right now Russia is is uh, is mobilizing their military. They armed troops, they reserves, they got the draft going. That's why if you go to Job 2:28, it reads, "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh." And that's what we're seeing right now. That's why people having dreams of America being invaded. That's why it's a peak in the brothers that's prophesying, bringing out this truth. This is peak season to be prophesying. There's stuff all over the place, and all the men of the Lord is doing it now. There probably won't be many new prophets coming on the scene. This is probably it right here. And then what else? A lot of people having visions of the future. These Edomites having dreams that they're going into slavery and receiving harsh judgment. People seeing. I had dreams since I was 10 years old, which I'm gonna do videos real soon, Yahawadah willing. But let me read this again. It shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days I will pour out my spirit. So the spirit of the Lord is being poured out on everything right now. Right now, everybody is prophesying, whether they know it or not. Whether they speak it with the scriptures, everybody is prophesying. So if anybody that got like some stuff they can't explain, that they saw with the future, that's prophecy. They can't filter it through the scriptures, but it's going to come to pass. Now, let's bring up some of our daily news concerning Russia and the U.S. and NATO and this drama they got going on. I just seen this video, so I liked it, but I haven't watched it yet. Oh, and also for some more judgment, there was a tsunami advisory for California yesterday. Supposedly, an underwater volcano went off and sent the tsunami their way. So everybody along the coast was pretty much at risk. But again, somebody ain't gonna make it out of that. Somebody gonna get judged. But let me forgive me. I'm looking for this video that I just saved. Probably find it this way. Anyways, more on our news concerning Russia and U.S. This was 4 hours ago, and this channel was called U.S. Secret Agenda. 3 Russian nuclear submarines surfaced all at once in the UK waters. So again, 3 Russian nuclear submarines surfaced all at once in the UK waters. If we think about where UK is on the map, that's pretty much NATO headquarters. And then also, they much closer to the US now as compared to when these submarines are around Russia. And then this white dude that I listened to in the video, Russia has a submarine that has enough firepower to destroy all the land of America. Just one submarine. But look here, they said 3 submarines surfaced. So imagine the devastation those 3 submarines could do. They could destroy Europe, America, uh, the UK, just with 3 submarines. That's not even mentioning they fighter jets and they bombers and they tanks. But let's see what else is in the news. So this video was 10 hours ago. Ukraine crisis. More likely than not, Russia will invade Ukraine. And what's going on? The U.S. is trying to recruit Ukraine as a NATO member because Ukraine is right next to Russia. But if the United States recruit Ukraine as a NATO member, they could put their U.S. could put their military bases in Ukraine right next to Russia. Now the U.S. said if Russia invade Ukraine, the U.S. gonna act. But let's see what else you can see. 15 hours ago, Russia looking for an excuse to invade Ukraine. Senior U.S. official says. 17 hours ago, Ukraine crisis continues to escalate with Russia and the U.S. hardened stances in talks. So Russia or Putin and Biden just had a meeting to come to a agreement, but neither side is backing down. All right, let's see what this reads. This was today, actually yesterday. Russia deploys T-14 tanks to Ukraine border. U.S. NATO makes strong threat against Russia. So Russia is probably going to invade Ukraine. But anyways, and also one of the things that the white dude said, there was an article that came out that said that Russia will invade Ukraine at the end of this month. So that's in the next 2 weeks, and that's probably more likely 100% right because right now Russia is mobilizing over 100,000 troops, thousands of tanks, hundreds of airplanes and fighter jets and submarines. It costs money to move all that stuff. It costs money to get all these people and weapons moved all throughout the world. So they're not spending all that money on nothing. They got a term in the streets called "it takes money to go to war." And if somebody spend that money to go to war, the war is going to happen. And Putin is spending a big budget. So Ukraine will be invaded. this is some more news. Since the U.S. is trying to put military bases next to Russia and Ukraine and Kazakhstan, Russia threatened the U.S. And that's the title of this video. Russia threatened the U.S. We can deploy troops in Cuba and Venezuela. And Cuba is in the Caribbean, so Venezuela is South America. So Putin is actually talking about putting military bases in South America and in Cuba, which is right off the coast of Florida. And the U.S. not gonna have that. And the video that the Zedomite that I listened to that the Zedomite did, he said, well, he was like, that's the arrogancy of the U.S. They could put military bases next to Russia, but Russia can't put military bases off the coast of North America. But he said that's the arrogancy of the U.S. They can do stuff, but they don't like when it's done to them. And arrogancy goes hand in hand with pride. So that shows the pride of these Americans, the pride of the U.S. What's going on, brother? Doing all right? Oh, not too bad. Man, oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
Just pray for everybody,
Oh, definitely.
Definitely have to do that.
Yeah, so you be I know you probably be busy. You be on YouTube at all?
No, I don't go there. Did you go there?
I kind of just do lessons of the Bible.
Oh, okay. Well, see if you can get you some business cards and pass them out. Maybe you can have some classes.
Oh, I got some.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah.
Oh, let me get one, bro.
This the top one is my YouTube channel here. The bottom one is my girl down in Houston. I got 3 channels up right now with a few videos on each one because they keep taking my channels down.
Oh.
So I'm in the middle of uploading.
Why they keep taking your channel down?
YouTube don't like the truth. If you don't speak
Right.
according to what they consider truth,
Right.
they want to flag it.
Oh, well.
But this what I got right here. We would be our people. We come from we're the children of Israel in the Bible. Yep. All right. Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. But that's all. That's good. But you can just do the best you can, and God bless you. Right?
Yes.
We ain't got to love.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care. So now with that being said, that's our daily news concerning Russia and the U.S. This stuff, there's updates by the hour, and every day there's more progress made to this third world war. Each day we wake up, go to sleep and wake up, we one day closer to that great and dreadful day, which is called the Day of the Lord. Because when Russia and the U.S., when they finally go to war, or I should say, when Russia decides to bomb the U.S., that's when Yahawadah and the Holy Angels going to make themselves manifest. And each day we go to sleep and wake up, we one day closer. And if Ukraine going to be invaded by the end of the month, that means the U.S. going to have to act. So what's going to happen for the month of February? And that's still 2 weeks away. So what could happen in the next 2 weeks? So what could happen in the next 30 or 60 days? There could be no missiles coming towards America. Zephaniah. All right, so now we're going to get into some scriptures. Because actually, what the Lord is going to do when He destroys America, it's going to be like a big sacrifice. America is a big sacrificial land. So everybody that gets destroyed with this place by fire, they're going to be considered a burnt sacrifice to Yahawadah Yahawadah. Because in the ancient days, when you would sacrifice an animal, you would burn the offering. So the people in this place is going to be used as a burnt offering to the Lord Himself. So now we're going to go to the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 8 through 9, I believe. All right, so here we go. Hold thy peace at the presence of Yahawadah Yahawadah, for the day of the Lord is at hand. the day he returns. He's going to return with the destruction. For the Lord hath prepared a sacrifice. He bid his guests. And what's that sacrifice? That sacrifice is going to happen on the day of the Lord. So he's going to return when America is being destroyed. And America being destroyed is that sacrifice. America is the altar of the sacrifice, and the people that's going to be burnt up in this place is an actual sacrifice. So if we continue, let's start over to go again. Zephaniah 1:7. Hold thy peace, that the presence of the Lord Yahawadah, for the day of the Lord is at hand. For the Lord hath prepared a sacrifice. He hath bid his guests. Let's see what this word bid translates to. Man, internet service been so janky. Alright, so bid goes into separate, consecrate, which also means to make holy. So the Lord separated us from this sacrifice that's going to be here in America. So when it says the Lord bid his guests, that means that he's setting us apart. He's going to save us from this sacrifice. And I can also go into invite because he's setting us apart from the sacrifice so that we can take part in watching this great sacrifice. As you go into Revelation, the 14th chapter, it said the people who take the mark and worship the beast and the image of the beast, they're going to be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So again, hold thy peace at the presence of Yahawadah, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and he hath prepared a sacrifice. He hath bid his guests, and we are his guests, the elect, the 1/3 of his people who's going to receive salvation. So he bid his guests again. He separated us so we not burnt up in the sacrifice, but him separating us, he's inviting us also to watch this sacrifice, and we're going to watch it from the chariots when this place and the people therein is being burnt up. Verse 8, and it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such are as are clothed with strange apparel. Now, who is the princes and the king's children? Those would be pretty much the people, the people who rule the planet. It pretty much goes into Esau's kingdom, the kings, which would be the presidents and the world leaders, and everybody that's ruling right now. So again, it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children. So again, what is the sacrifice? He's sacrificing the people, the Edomites, and everybody that's joined to the Edomites. Pretty much everybody that's not in this inner circle, that's not in this truth. And this sacrifice is him punishing them. So he's going to punish them by burning them up with the land, but and also in punishing them is also a sacrifice. And again, he will punish the princes and the king's children, the leaders of the world today, and all such are as clothed with strange apparel. And the strange apparel will be going after other doctrines outside of the doctrine of what is pushed by Great Millstone. Because everything else is going to lead to destruction, lead to death. And what's that doctrine? The Lord shows in this to Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans that Yahawadah is Lord. He's going to judge America. Don't take the MOB. Don't take that drink, which is that needle that they're trying to mandate. So now we're going to jump to Isaiah chapter 34 to get more of what this sacrifice is. Go to Isaiah 34 and 6. The sword of Yahawadah is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahawadah Yahawashi hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So this sacrifice, the Lord burning the people up, which I I'll be praying for us. Yes, sir. So again, this sacrifice, the Lord burning this place up and burning up the people in it, is also a punishment. But when we read here, for the Lord hath the sacrifice in Basra. So the sacrifice is going to take place in Basra, and the great slaughter in the land of all of Idumea. So in the sacrifice, you have to slaughter the animal. And who's going to be slaughtered? That was just mentioned at the first part of the verse. The sword of the Lord is filled with fatness, is filled with blood, is made fat with fatness, with the blood of lambs and goats. So the Lord is going to slaughter the lambs and goats, which will translate to the people of America. Who would be the lambs? That would be the 2/3 that'll turn back to this truth. They need a shepherd, but they never return back to him. So they're going to be killed with the goats. Who would be the goats? That would be the Edomites and every other nation outside of Israel. So again, that great slaughter in the land of Idumea is the slaughter of the 2/3 and every other nation of people. And they're all going to be slaughtered and burnt up in this sacrifice, and that sacrifice will be a punishment unto them. Now, Basra is a chief city in the land of Edom. So, like America, the chief place would be like Washington, D.C., or like New York. That's what Basra is compared to in the land of Edom. Now again, when it says, for the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Edom, Idumea is Greek. It's the Greek word for Edom. Idumea and Edom means the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same nation of people. They both mean red. So one more time, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood, and that's judgment. That's that great slaughter that's going to take place in America. It is made fat with fatness. So when something is fat, that's talking about the fullness of something. So the Lord is going to fulfill His bloodshed here in America with the blood of lambs, the 2/3, and the goats, the Edomites, and the other nations, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, which Basra translates now to America, because America is every kingdom, every ancient kingdom wrapped into one place. Every ancient wicked kingdom that oppressed the Lord's chosen people. So this place is Idumea, Basra, which Idumea is really Greek. It's also Rome too. The Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, a great slaughter in the land of Edom, Idumea, which is America. America is Edom. This is the home, the kingdom of the Edomites. This is Mount Seir. Now we're going to jump to Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 22. And we're going to show who Basra is. That Basra in Idumea is Edom. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle. That's those chariots. And spread his wings over Basra. So he's going to spread his chariots over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty man of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. So again, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle and spread his wings over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty man of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. So here, he's going to spread his wings over Basra. Then the mighty man of Edom shall be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. So Basra is the city, and Edom is the nation of people. It's like pretty much saying that he's going to spread his wings over America and the Caucasians, the mighty men of the Caucasians will be as the heart of a woman. So again, Basra is the place, Edom is the people. The place will be America, and the people will be the Edomites, the white race. So again, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wing over America. And that day shall the heart of the mighty men of the Caucasians, the Edomites, be as the heart of a woman in her pains. Because before a woman gives birth, she's in great distress. Because that's a dreadful thing to give birth. Because you could die giving birth. The child can die. You're in extreme pain and discomfort. And that's how the mighty men of Edom going to be. The mighty Caucasians, which should be the militaries of America, NATO, the European Union, Europe. All of that is Edom. All of that is Basra. And another cut on this. Give me one moment. She looks busy. And another thing here, he said he should come up and fly as the eagle. Pretty much saying that the very thing that America always does to these other countries, the Lord is going to do it to them. Because how do the eagle come up and fly? That's the area you attack. That's the area you strike. So the Lord's saying he gonna do what these Edomites do in their military. He gonna surround this place and strike it with an aerial strike. Because anytime the U.S. got a problem, they send their fighter jets to pretty much surround the place. So that's what the Lord is gonna do. Saying the very same way that America go about bullying and handling these other countries, the Lord is gonna do the same thing to America. So now we're going to jump. We know now that Edom is Basra. Edom and Basra translates to America, pretty much the kingdom of the Edomites, which would be the white man. Now we're going to jump to Numbers 35 and 33. And here we're going to show why the Lord has a great slaughter, a great sacrifice in this place. We're going to show why he has to punish the people. Numbers 35 and I think 33. So you shall not pollute the land wherein you are, and we are not to pollute the land. That's an offense. And how should you not pollute the land? For blood, it defiles the land. So you're not supposed to spill blood. It pollutes the land. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein. And once somebody sheds blood, the land is forever polluted. There's no way to cleanse that land. It's not like you got an oil spill somewhere on the ground. You can go soak up the oil, or something like that. But let's continue. Let's read it over to continue all the way through. So you should not pollute the land wherein you are. For blood, it defiles the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. So the only way to cleanse the land of blood is by shedding the blood of the man who shed the innocent blood. So the only way to cleanse the land is by killing the murderer himself. And who is the murderer? That's Esau, the Edomites, the white man. And what land did he pollute? He polluted America. Really, he polluted all the lands, but the land of America is the most defiled. This land is the most polluted because this is the place where most of the Lord's people were slaughtered wrongfully. So you should not pollute the land therein you are, for blood it defiles the land. And America is greatly defiled from all the blood of all the Negroes that they hung, tortured, lynched, getting shot down. For the Native Americans, they damn near slaughtered, damn near killed off. The same thing with the Hispanics, who they slaughtered in North and South America, Mexico, Central America, the Caribbean. So this place is the most defiled, polluted land in all the earth because all the innocent blood that was shed here. And innocent blood don't mean like an innocent white man or an innocent Chinese man. Innocent goes into the righteous blood. This is the place where the most righteous blood was shed in the earth. Righteous blood being the blood of the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So the only way that this land can be cleansed is by the blood of him that shed it. So the only way this place can be cleansed is the blood of the white man had to be shed here. And how many people you think they killed over the years of their conquest? It might be some hundreds of millions of people that they killed. What's the white man's population in the world today? It might even be billions that they killed. But what's the white man's population? It might be a couple billion. So a couple billion Edomites is going to have to be killed to cleanse the earth. Because that's not just America. That's all the world. Israel, Africa, all over the world they shed in our blood. And we can see that. And we're going to give an example with this. So now we're going to go to Genesis chapter 4. Why is this thing playing with me? So now we're going to go to Genesis chapter 4, verse 8. We're going to show an example with this. So what happened every time you shed innocent blood, every time you shed righteous blood. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. And Yahawadah said to Cain, "Where is Abel, your brother?" And he said, "I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?" And he said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries to me from the ground. And now are you cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive your brother's blood from the land." So anytime our blood is shed, our blood crieth out unto the Lord from the ground. And every time our blood is shed, the earth has to open her mouth to receive our blood, and that pollutes the earth. And that's what happened. Cain represents the white man, the Edomites, and we are represented by Abel. So the white man, the Edomites, they've been killing us since the book of Genesis, since the beginning of time. So now that we know that, however many people they killed from thousands of years ago, in the time of Cain, that's how many Edomites got to be killed to cleanse the land. And that's the sacrifice. So when it says the Lord has a great sacrifice in Basra, the Lord has a great sacrifice. Because all the people here in this land got to be killed to cleanse this land of the blood that was shed. And not just here, all over the world. That's why all the Edomites got to die. Because the Lord got to cleanse the land of the innocent blood that was shed all over. So now we're going to jump to Ezekiel 35. And we're going to show that they've been killing us since the ancient days. So Ezekiel 35. And 5. Because you have had a perpetual hatred. Perpetual means everlasting. Because these Edomites, these white people, they had an everlasting hatred for us. In another translation of this Bible here, it says an ancient hatred. Because they've been hating us since the ancient days. How have they been hating us since the ancient days? Because Esau hated Jacob, Cain hated Abel. As we just read, that's why Cain killed Abel. So again, because you have had an let me go up. Let's see who the Lord is talking to. Ezekiel 35 and 2. Son of man, set your face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Mount Seir is Basra. Mount Seir is Edom. That's the Edomites, the white man. Now if we continue down to verse 5, it says, because you have had a perpetual hatred, an everlasting hatred, an ancient hatred, and have shed the blood of the children of Israel, the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, says the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare you to blood, and blood shall pursue you. Since you have not hated blood, even blood shall pursue you. So blood is going to pursue the Edomites to cleanse the land of the blood that was shed. And it says, blood shall pursue you, meaning judgment. And their judgment is their blood is going to be shed. And again, their blood is going to be shed to cleanse the land that they defiled by spilling our blood. So now we're going to go back to Zephaniah 7 and 8. Back to Zephaniah verse 1, 7 and 8. So again, we read, hold thy peace at the presence of Yahawadah Shem Yahawashi, for the day of the Lord is at hand. For the, for the Lord hath prepared a sacrifice, he hath bid his guests. And that sacrifice is going to be the Lord spilling the blood of the Edomites, of the white people who shed our blood since the ancient days. And in shedding their blood, by sacrificing them, he's going to cleanse his land. It'll no longer be defiled and polluted. And he hath bid his guests. So the Lord bidding his guests, that's us seeing the Lord avenge us. And if we continue, it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice. And the Lord's sacrifice, the Lord killing like 3 birds in one stone. He's sacrificing the people to kill the land. It's vengeance for us, the hopeful elect. And it's a sacrifice to cleanse the land that was polluted. So you're getting like 3 or 4 or 5 things done at once. It's a sacrifice, a cleanser, it's vengeance, it's a punishment, all that at once. The Lord is completely efficient in all his work. So let me continue. It shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such as are clothed with strange apparel. So everybody who got any other walk in life that don't hearken into this doctrine, the laws in this Bible, they're going to be punished. So now let's go to Jeremiah 46 and 10. Man, this phone is struggling. Jeremiah 46 and 10. For this is the day of the Lord Yahawadah Shem Yahawashi. This is the day of the Lord God of hosts. A day of vengeance. So the day of the Lord is the day of vengeance. And vengeance of who? Let's see. That he may avenge him of his adversaries. So the Lord has enemies. I thought the Lord was all peace. I thought in the kingdom of heaven everybody was going to be at peace under the Lord. I thought the Lord was bringing peace on the earth. He said this is a day of vengeance, that he may avenge him of his adversaries, that the sword shall devour, and it shall be satiate and made drunk with their blood. So satiate means to satisfy, like you satiate yourself when you eat. So the sword of the Lord is going to devour the blood of his enemies. It's going to be made drunk with their blood. That's an overkill. Because when you drunk, that means you drunk too much. So his sword being drunk with their blood, that's an overkill. The Lord not going to just modestly or nicely put people to death. Now the Lord going all out. He's going to be on a rampage. For the Lord of hosts has a sacrifice in the north country by the river Euphrates. Now this is not talking about, oh, and actually, that's another one. Because not only is the Lord going to, and how is the Lord going to sacrifice the people in his land? How is he going to cleanse his land? He's going to do it by thermonuclear destruction. That's going to be when Russia destroys America. So, and fire is also a cleansing agent. So, for example, if you got something, when you got a grill, and it's dirty, what you do to the grill? You make a fire that engulfs the whole grill. And in doing that, you're going to clean everything in the grill. so you can just scrape the ashes off. That's what the Lord gonna do to this place. He's gonna burn it with fire to cleanse it. So the fire is gonna cleanse this place, and then the blood of the murderer, the Edomites, that's gonna cleanse the earth for the innocent blood that was shed. Because this place got to be burned up. All these cars, all this rubber, all this plastic, all this shit got to go. This shit got to be burnt up. And there's no other way to burn up all the plastic in America without just burning the whole country. Because everything that these Edomites, it defiles the earth. These power lines, these 5G towers, the plastics, the rubber, the GMO foods, the GMO plants, the GMO animals, everything is defiled. Everything is corrupted. So all got to be burnt up. Even the people gonna be GMO if they took that drink, so they got to be burnt up too. There's no way to fix that. The only way to fix stuff a lot of time is just reset it by starting over. And then also, the Lord has a sacrifice here, but sacrifice is going to be vengeance of Him for Himself and the vengeance for us, because by the great river Euphrates, that's where that's where the Lord gonna gather all these nations to fight against Him. So the Lord's gonna fight the U.S. military, the Russian military, the China, Korean, Indian, the Iran, Israeli military. The Lord is gonna fight all them at the Euphrates River, which is over there in the eastern part of the world, and that's why the Euphrates River is drying up, and that lines up with Bible prophecy, because that's the valley where the Lord is going to avenge Himself of all His adversaries, and all His adversaries would be all these other nations. Let's read this thing. So again, Jeremiah 46 and 10. For this day of the Lord God of hosts, the day of vengeance, that He may avenge him of his adversaries. And the sword shall devour, and it shall be satiated and made drunk with their blood. For the Lord Yahawadah of hosts has a sacrifice in the north country by the Euphrates River, because the Lord has a sacrifice there too. The sacrifice over there is not going to be thermonuclear destruction. You're not going to burn the place up with nuclear missiles, but He's going to zap everybody with those chariots. And that's going to be turning the people to ash. You're still going to be burning them up, just burning them up in a different way. Isaiah 63. So next we're going to jump to the book of Isaiah, chapter 63. I'm going to start at verse 1. Who is that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Is that his glorious in his apparel? This that is glorious in his apparel, travailing with the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Now let me read this again. Who is that? Let me read this over again. Who is this that cometh from Edom? That's America. With dyed garments of Basra. What's dyed garments? Meaning the Lord's clothing is going to be soaked in blood. And that symbolizes the great death that's going to take place. Because remember, the Lord has a great slaughter in the land of Basra. So again, who is this that cometh from Edom? With dyed garments from Basra. This that is glorious in his apparel, travailing in the greatness of his strength. Because the Lord coming as a mighty angelic force. He's coming as a God in the glory of Yahweh. Travailing in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Because the Lord is going to be mighty to save. Because there's nobody that can save us. There's no man that can save us. But Yahweh Shai is going to be that mighty man that saves us. So now, let's continue. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. So again, wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. It's pretty much asking, why is the Lord's clothes stained with blood? And they got a question mark right there. And this is the answer. I have trodden the wine press alone. A wine press is where you smash grapes to make wine. And in doing that, your clothes get stained with the blood of the grapes. So it's comparing the people to grapes. So again, wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? I have tread in the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me, because there's no man alive that can help Yahweh Shai uh, do this great work. So again, I have trodden in the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. See, man, that's the answer right there. And it says, who is that cometh from Edom with thy garments? Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? Because the Lord is going to trample them in his fury, and their blood is going to be sprinkled upon his garments. For the day of vengeance is in my heart. So the Lord has vengeance in his heart. When you got vengeance, you can't wait to get vengeance on somebody. That's why usually when somebody take their vengeance out on somebody, they've been waiting so long that when they get their vengeance, it's an overkill. It's a brutal murder. And that's why the slaughter in America is going to be a brutal one, because the Lord is waiting. He's been waiting for thousands of years um, since they killed them. And now somebody hang you, nail you to a cross, you're going to want vengeance when you get brought back to life. Any man in their right mind gonna want vengeance. Yahweh Shai ain't no different. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. The year is redeemed, that would be the 1/3 in elect. Because it's gonna happen in a certain year. And we think this is the year. Because we see how Russia is moving around all the chess pieces to take out NATO and America. This place is gonna be destroyed. And America, la got it. As that Edomite said, that America, oh, that's what he said. He said there's a shortage of American troops. And right now, the U.S. military, they have a $50,000 sign-on bonus. So if I sign up right now, I'm going to walk out with $50,000. That shows you that they're desperate for soldiers. They're desperate for fighters. They ain't got enough. And they ain't going to have enough. And rightfully so. And everybody that's in the U.S. military, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guards, you fighting in Satan's army. So you're going to be wiped out. If you're going to be wiped out in nuclear destruction, you're going to be wiped out when you get zapped by that chariot fire. And so I got family, I got friends. I was like, dang, they don't even know who they fighting for. They don't even know they on the wrong side. So let's continue. For the I'm going to start from the top and go all the way through. Isaiah 63, verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom, with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, travailing in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? I have tread in the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I would tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. Because there was no man that was worthy to do what Yahweh Shai is going to do. He's the only one worthy to save us. And this fury, and when it says, therefore my own arm brought salvation, and my fury it upheld me, because there was no other man to uphold Yahawadah. There was no other man to push him. When it says my fury it upheld me, that's pretty much saying he's driven by his fury. So people say that the Lord is full of love and the Lord is powered by love. No, the fury of the Lord is what upheld him. It's what drives him. What man in their right mind is driven by all this bubbly, lovey-dovey, soft feelings? Nobody. Why do a lion or a male tiger or a male bear, when you see them, what they doing? They're using growling, howling. You can't be driven by love and peace and expect to survive in a world full of wickedness. You gotta be driven by the fury of your enemies that's trying to devour you. And that's what Yahawadah is being driven by. Because if he was driven by peace, when he get down here, he would change his mind. Like, no, I'm not going to try them like a wine press. I'm not going to kill them too much. No, that ain't right. Yahweh made Yahawadah, that's the top vengeful spirit. As my cousin Torrance brought it out, there are spirits that's created for vengeance. Yahawadah is the top spirit created for vengeance. That's when you watch horror movies like Halloween. Michael Myers was a spirit created for vengeance. And what happened to Michael Myers when he was a boy? He was oppressed. And the scriptures say, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. So Michael Myers is driven mad by his oppression. So he grew up to be that vengeful spirit. Jason, that's another vengeful spirit. Because what happened on Friday the 13th? They oppressed Jason. They drowned him and killed him wrongfully, how they do us. So he came back to life with a machete, and he was slaughtering all the Edomites. Notice in all the horror movies, it's mainly the Edomites that be getting slaughtered. They gotta throw a black person in there just for the sake of it. And of course, he always died, but even like Freddy Krueger, they burnt him in fire. He a spirit created for vengeance. He harmed people in their dreams. Then what happened with Freddy Krueger? They want you to forget his name. You can't say it. Hoping that they can wipe out the memory of him. But as soon as you start mentioning his name, the memories come back and the people be terrified. That's why they gave us God and Jesus. They want us to forget the names Yahweh Bashim Yahawadah. Because the moment new names were spoken, prophecy started taking place. Brothers started waking up, bringing out this truth. And these Edomites started having dreams. Because now they know that God of the Bible, his son, is a black man. And he bringing a sword to redeem his people and to avenge himself of his adversaries. So Freddy Krueger, the spirit is Yahawadah. As he come to bring vengeance on these Edomites. Now let's continue to verse 6. And I will tread down the people in my anger and make them drunk in my fury, meaning drunk with their own blood. That's why Ezekiel 35:5, he says, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. So again, and I will tread down the people. I will tread down the people in mine anger and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. What is the strength of the Edomites? It's their military. That's what gives this place its strength. So again, I will bring down their strength to the earth. That's that military. That's going to happen at the Euphrates River. Because the armies of all these countries, of all these world leaders, they're going to meet at the Euphrates River to fight against Yahawadah. And that's going to be a battle in the heavens. That's going to take place high above the earth, in the upper atmosphere, in the heavens, what they call outer space. And when it says that the Lord will bring down their strength to the earth, that means their army and their militaries which is their strength, is going to be above the earth, fighting Yahawadah and the holy angels. So Yahawadah will bring them to the ground. That's why if we go to the book of Obadiah, I think verse 4, though thou exalt yourself as the eagle, and though you say your nest among the stars, from there I will bring you down, says the Lord. Because another word for nest, by definition, is an in-place group of weapons. And when you got enough weapons in one place, you can say you got an army. And that's actually what they're trying to do with outer space. That's why they established the Space Force, which is the sixth branch of the military, and that's the final branch, because they're trying to have an in-place group of weapons in outer space. So the Lord said, though you say your nest, your army's among the stars, from there I will bring you down. So this battle is going to be in the heavens. Yahweh and the holy angels is going to bring them down from there. I'm back to Isaiah 63. Well, we done there. So now we're gonna read Isaiah 63, and I think 4. You're gonna jump to the book of Revelation. For the day of vengeance is in my heart. That's the day of the Lord, the day of His great sacrifice, the great slaughter, the day of vengeance, the day that the earth is cleansed from our blood that was shed by the Edomites. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And it was the 1/3 the elect who was redeemed. So keep in mind the day of vengeance is in his heart. Now let's going to see what his vengeance is. But we already saw in Jeremiah that he can avenge him of his adversaries. But why is all the people his adversaries? Let's go to Revelation, I think 18. Revelation 18 and 20. Rejoice over her, you heaven, and you holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh Bashem Yahawadah has avenged you on her. So the Lord's adversaries is the people who killed his apostles and prophets and his holy people here in the earth. Those are the Lord's adversaries. Because you rise up against the Lord by rising up against his people. You can't just literally step up to Yahawadah, to Yahweh, on a throne and boast against them. You rise up to them by rising up against his people. Like if you got children. If somebody step to your child, they step to you. Same thing with the Lord. They step to his children. So the Lord said, hey, you doing it to me. So again, rejoice over her, you heaven, and you holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh has avenged you on her. Who is her? That's Lady Liberty, the great whore that rides this beast. And which is America. So the Lord is going to avenge his prophets and holy apostles on America, on the Edomites, by sacrificing them to cleanse the land, cleanse the earth of the blood that was shed. That's why they're going to be sacrificed. And we're going to see this great and ultimate sacrifice from the chariots. That's why when we go to Revelation, bro, stop playing with me. That's why we go to Revelation 14. It reads, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Who is the holy angels? Those the host of heaven, the armies of the heavens. That's who flying these chariots that the world call UFOs. But who else are the angels? Because when we receive salvation, you're going to be made like an angel. So we're the angels too. We're going to be watching these people get tormented with fire and brimstone next to the Lamb. So again, Revelation 14:10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahawadah, which is poured out without mixture, into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels. The holy angels and the 1/3 elect, and in the presence of the Lamb. Really? So now we're going to jump to So yeah, that's the Lord's vengeance. As we're going to see our enemies be destroyed before our eyes. So all the Negroes, Native Americans, Hispanics that was oppressed, killed in this land, tortured, burnt, ripped open, dismembered, shot down, killed in the hospitals, killed by this food. That's our vengeance. Seeing this place be destroyed with fire. So now we're gonna jump to the book of Zephaniah. 1:18. In this place, the Lord's gonna take his vengeance on this place, America, by allowing it to be destroyed by nuclear missiles at the hands of Russia, China, North Korea, and everybody else that shoot them at us. And as outlined here in the book of Zephaniah, we're going to start at 1:14. The great day of Yahawadah Yahawashi is near. It is near. It hasteneth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty men shall cry there bitterly. So again, the great day of the Lord Yahawadah Yahawashi is near. It hasteneth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty men shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. So ain't nothing good about this day. This day already sounds like the worst day it could be. A day of trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. But again, a day of the trumpet. What do people say? When the trumpets go off, we know that's the Lord's judgment. That's Christianity. But for the most part, I just wanted to show that when it says the day of the trumpet, we can agree we're talking about the same thing, the day he returns. So a day of the trumpet and the alarm against the fenced cities. And what's the alarm? That's going to be those nuclear sirens. And we know that it's the nuclear sirens for what's stated next in the next two verses. So a day of trumpet and a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And now we're being distressed upon them, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahweh Yahawashi. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and these people are going to be zapped, turned to dust. And their flesh as the dung. So when you're walking through the grass, you step on cow poop, that's dung. These people are going to be getting stepped on. There's going to be nowhere to bury them. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he will make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So again, if we jump back up to Zephaniah 1 and 16, a day of the trumpet and alarm, these sirens, because the whole land shall be devoured by fire. That's nuclear destruction. So this whole place is going to be destroyed by nuclear fire because Russia is going to destroy this place. And it's going to be Russia that destroys this place. That's why if you go back down, it says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. Meaning that there's nothing that the United States, that these Edomites could do at this point to talk themselves out of their judgment, out of what's coming. Because the one thing that Edomites said in the video that Putin said himself, he said there's no more reason to talk to the U.S. to try to come to an agreement. He said he done talking, it's useless. He said we got nothing done by talking. So America, they think it's a game. Oh, we're gonna be arrogant and be prideful. We're not gonna listen to Putin. Putin dead. He dead ass serious. He done talking. That's how he moving all his troops and his military equipment. Because the U.S. like to put sanctions on people. He like to heavily tax people in this gas and oil market. So one thing that the U.S. gonna try to do, they're gonna try to put heavy sanctions on Russia, and that pretty much equals more money for the U.S. But the U.S. might try to say, okay, we won't put sanctions on you. That's their gold and silver not being able to deliver them, because there's not going to be taking the sanctions off, saving Russia money, gold and silver. Ain't no form of riches will be able to deliver America from Russia. America already made up their mind. They're going to destroy it till there's nothing left. So again, neither their silver nor their gold, nothing that America can offer to Russia shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. So again, Zephaniah 1 and 16, a day of trumpet and alarms. Back down to 18. This trumpet and alarms is going to be for the fire that's coming to devour this whole land. And the whole land being America. Because these Edomites tell you if it's a nuclear destruction, a nuclear war, or an asteroid, it's going to destroy the whole earth. That ain't true. It's going to destroy this whole land, America, and it's going to destroy Israel. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. And this is not the 1/3. But what did the Lord say in Revelation 18? When he says, rejoice over her, ye heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets. We are the heavens, because we dwell in heaven, because our conversation is in heaven, because we're focused on the kingdom to come. So mentally, we're in heaven, so we are the heavens. And these Edomites, and the 2/3, and these other nations, they dwell on the earth. So when it says, he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land, he will make a riddance of all them who are carnally minded people, who are fleshly people, people of the flesh. Not the people of Yahawadah Shem Yahawadah. Because the people of Yahawadah Shem Yahawadah, we are the heavens. So therefore the Lord will take us out of this place so we're not destroyed with this place. That's why Zephaniah 1 and 8 says he has bid his guests, meaning he has separated his guests from this great sacrifice. That separation is a salvation and an invitation. Like I saved you from the destruction, now I invite you to come watch this destruction. I invite you to watch the vengeance that I took out on America and on the Edomites for your sakes. And that's what Yahawadah doing. Now next we're going to jump to Isaiah chapter 13. And the fire that's going to devour this whole land, that's only a nuclear war. A forest fire can't devour this whole land. A house fire can't. But you see, California been on fire for hundreds of years. But California's still there. America's still here. So it ain't a forest fire. It ain't a volcano. A whole volcano can't destroy this land. So the only form of fire that can destroy this land is these nuclear missiles. And it's no coincidence that Russia is moving all their submarines that carry nuclear missiles. There's no coincidence that China and North Korea, they firing their hypersonic ballistic missiles. Those nuclear missiles is reserved for the day of the Lord. They reserved for America. There's no coincidence how all this lines up with the scriptures, with the great day of the Lord. Ain't no asteroid, ain't no forest fire, no volcano. That's nuclear destruction. So now we're gonna jump down Isaiah 13 and 5. They come from a far country. That's the nuclear missiles from the end of heaven. Even the Lord. The Lord is coming from the end of heaven. He's coming from a far place. And the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. So, a couple clues. The whole land is going to be destroyed by fire. We know now that the weapons of his indignation will destroy the whole land. So there's a weapon that brings fire to destroy your whole land. That's the nuclear missiles. And I'm going to jump back real quick to Zephaniah 1. Because another thing that the Edomite was said, he said if Russia, once Russia decided they made their move, he said a nuclear war would probably only last a couple hours. And that lines up with the scripture too. Because we go to Zephaniah 1 and 18, it says, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So he's going to quickly get rid of the people when he devours the whole land by the fire or the weapons of his indignation. Then we jump to Revelation 18. It says that in 1 hour her judgment has come. Meaning in 1 hour her judgment has come. Meaning in 1 hour America will be destroyed. So all the Lord need is 59 minutes with this place. A whole nuclear war might take a couple hours, but America gonna be the first loser in this nuclear war because it's gonna be wiped out in 58 minutes. And that lines up with the Edomite said. It's not gonna be a long and drawn out war. And it's 2022. That also goes into the year to turn up, because up until this point, it's been a slow, steady build up and prophecy through gradualism. Well, the gradualism is done now. This is a year to turn up. There's no more gradualism. There's no more building up. Stuff is just about to happen. And I'm gonna get back to that in a minute. Yahweh willing, I remember. So now back to Isaiah 13. We're gonna start at 6. Now we're gonna do 5, then go back down. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven. Even Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, and the weapons of his indignation was the first part. They come from a far country. The weapons of his indignation, those nuclear missiles, those are the things that come from a far country. Because they're going to be shot from Russia, from China, from North Korea. They're going to be shot from the ends of the earth. How ye? For the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as destruction from the Almighty. So this destruction that's going to devour this whole land by fire, by the weapons of his indignation, that's going to be shot from a far country, that's destruction from the Almighty. Meaning the Almighty ordered that destruction, because the Lord is the King, and He ordered the destruction of America by the weapons of His indignation, which is the nuclear missiles that's going to be shot from these different countries. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And again, therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And that's like when great fear come upon you. Your hands get weak, your heart drop to your stomach. That's your heart melting. But why are people's hands going to be weak? Why is people's hearts going to be dropping to their stomach? Because they're going to get the alert on their phones, TVs, computers, the radio. You're going to hear that eerie nuclear siren. So you're going to be hearing it for so long, they're going to be like, why it ain't going off? And then they're going to hear, this is not a test. You're going to hear nuclear missiles has been fired at these cities. And then they're going to keep updating the list of all the cities that these nuclear missiles was fired at. So again, how ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. For the day of nuclear destruction for America is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty, meaning it was ordered, it was set in stone from Yahawadah himself. It was written, therefore it has to happen. Therefore shall all the hands be faint, people are going to be weak, and every man's heart shall melt because of great fear, and they shall be afraid. And why are they going to be afraid? Because they got the warning, they got the siren. Pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. And that's a woman that's about to give birth. She'll be in pangs and great fear and great distress. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. So people going to be amazed at what they see. This great day of destruction from the Almighty, they're going to be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. So everybody going to see each other being burnt up once these nuclear missiles start destroying America. And that tells you there that the Lord is going to slow down this destruction. And He's going to slow down time. Because the only way that you can survive long enough in nuclear destruction to see people around you being burnt up is the Lord has to slow it down. Because if He didn't slow it down, everybody would be evaporated in a fraction of a second. So for an entire hour, everybody's going to be getting bombarded by these millions of nuclear warheads. And the Lord going to take that 1 hour and He's going to slow it down. And we know He's going to slow it down because when we go back to Revelation 14, what does it read? And the smoke of their torment ascends up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast in His image and whoever receives the mark of His name. So this great and terrible fire, this smoke, this destruction is going to last for many nights and many days. For what it seems like, it's only going to happen in 1 hour on our end, but on their end, it's going to seem like forever. And that's what John saw in his vision. It's like it was forever, like it was never ending. But again, on our end, it's only going to last an hour. So when we continue, behold, the day of Yahawadah cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger. And what do we open up the lesson with? The Lord taking judgment on this place. A little girl getting shot 22 times. Another girl getting stabbed 15 times. Tsunamis, volcanoes, floods, winter storms, people stranded in the ice, people getting attacked by middle schoolers. These damn 11 and 12-year-olds